All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Afternoon Tune. I'm your host, Josh, and with me today are my two co-hosts. I got Nick,
Hello, it's been a while, but I'm back.
and I got my other co-host here, Dusk.
How you doing?
It's good for you all to join us today. We got some good movie reviews for you people today.
Mm-hmm.
And no
Mhm.
real news there. So after the reviews, we'll go ahead and raid somebody after this. But yeah, good show. So we're gonna review three movies. It's gonna be a review for Black Bag, the new Steven Soderbergh film. We also got a review for Snow White, another Disney live action film there.
Yep, a live action Disney film that is generating no controversy at all.
And completely immune of all that kind of going on. So yeah, we got that, and then also got The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes film there. So we have that as well there. So yeah, good show. Hold on, doesn't seem like I'm going live on Twitch. Hold on, let me see really quickly here.
Hang on.
Says some issue with the title. Let me see if I can
Mm.
fix that. Maybe the title's too long. No, let me try now. That's real. Just let me remove it. Let me put it back. Let me see if that changes it. Sorry about this. Hold on.
Apologies, technical difficulties. Yeah, you know how it goes.
Yeah, it says the title is invalid. That's weird. I never had that problem before. Let me see if I do this. Yeah. But Nick, let people know where they can find you. What you got going on, man? What you been up to?
Yeah, me. I've just been, moseying around, trying to get back into fighting shape. Doing a lot of boxing. Just did some kickboxing sparring today, which had a lot of fun doing it. You know, my dad always gives me crap because you pay money to get beat up, but hey, it's fun. I don't know what I can say about it.
How much do you pay a month to go to that gym?
So I bounce around between two different gyms. I think the boxing gym I go to, it's about 125 a month, and my kickboxing it's about 80.
Okay. Wow.
Mhm.
Okay. Good works out though. A lot of good conditioning, strengthening,
Oh yeah,
kickboxing,
yeah.
and boxing.
I feel better than I have in a long time, and just been consistently doing it for the last month or so.
Mm, yeah. What about with you, Dusk? Anything new?
No, not particularly. Not at the moment, really.
Okay.
Same old, same old.
Same old, same old. Yeah. A lot of just trying to watch these review movies, do these reviews there, do these shows. I know a lot of shows there. Reacher, we're gonna do a review for that. It has two more
Mhm.
episodes. I think. Well, actually, one more episode because the other penultimate episode dropped Thursday, so the
Mm.
finale's coming next week. So yeah, there's that. Nick, are you gonna be joining me tomorrow?
Dude, what are we talking about tomorrow? Of course, I'm gonna fucking join you.
Good old Invincible there. Good old Invincible.
Damn it! If only we could have put the title card for it. Just
Yeah, I
good
would.
old fashioned.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. I was like, yeah, that'd be the perfect moment for the title card. But yeah, Invincible there. I'm also gonna have Christina from Cosmopolitics, also Movie Night Extravaganza. She's gonna join me, and we're gonna be reviewing Revenge, which was the first film from the director of
Ooh, fuck! I love
Substance.
that movie.
So we're doing that for Women's Month. Another review we're doing for Women's Month. We could either do Ride Lane or we could do the Babadook. I'm trying to
Hmm.
decide which one to do there.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad because I haven't seen either, and I keep hearing so many great things.
Yeah, I've been meaning to watch the Babadook. Is that what you
Mhm.
call it? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, the
Babadook.
Babadook.
Babadook there. So yeah, you got that kind of going on. So yeah, maybe review that next Saturday. I'm gonna review that possibly next Saturday with somebody. But yeah, so Invincible, Revenge are the two things. Saturday, they are probably 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Nick, Christina from Cosmopolitics, and Chris from the Black Steps Podcast is gonna be joining me for that. Sunday, Chris Ayers is going to be joining me. We're going to be reviewing The Gorge, The Electric State, and My Dead Friend Zoe. Hearing a lot about that Electric
Hmm.
State. It's the Netflix film there with Millie Bobby Brown and Chris Pratt. hearing a lot of people talk about how terrible it is.
Mhm.
So I can't wait to check it out there. Um, yeah, so probably do that probably 8, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time there. Monday, hopefully, Sage can join me Monday there. Sage from Rated M for Immaturity. He's got some video game reviews to do. He's gonna be joining me for that, so he's gonna be doing that. Probably review an anime there. Again, since it is Women's Month, trying to do an anime that is female led there. Carol and Tuesday is an anime there that we might review. That's from the creator of Cowboy Bebop, which is perfect timing because the creator of Cowboy Bebop does have a new anime series coming out April 5th called Lazarus.
Mhm.
If you know his style and kind of what he does, it will feel very familiar if you watch the trailer. Like, oh yeah, this is definitely from the creator of Samurai Champloo and Cowboy Bebop. So you got that going on. So that's some upcoming reviews we got for you people today. Another movie probably will review next week. I know Jonathan Majors has that movie Magazine Dreams that's also released this week.
Mhm.
Probably get a chance to check that out and review it next week. So there is that. And then what was another? Wasn't that Bill Skarsgård movie Locked?
Oh yeah, Locked also came out this week. The Sam Raimi produced one.
Okay, I did. I haven't heard much about it, but I have seen people review it. Have you heard anything about it?
I haven't heard any reviews on it, but I'm curious to see it. It's David Urofsky who did Brightburn a couple of years ago.
Mm, okay, nice. And I don't really like Brightburn.
It never lived up to its premise, but I liked a lot about it. I didn't like the movie as a whole.
Yeah. Next week is coming out is The Woman in the Yard and Working Man with Jason Statham. So that's the movies coming out next week there, I believe. So yeah, got some good movies there set up there and to discuss and talk about. Oh, right. Yeah, for some reason, I don't know. I guess it's okay. We're on YouTube, so I guess streaming wise, it's okay there. So at least if because I have it backed up, StreamYard and YouTube in case something happens with it, but I don't know why it won't let me. I'm having such issues streaming on Twitch there, but yeah. So we'll go ahead with move on with that. Oh, right there. Go ahead, set up these notes and get into these reviews, and then afterwards we'll go ahead and raid somebody. Dante's on playing that Split Fiction. Split Fiction, really great.
Hey.
I hear hear a lot about that. Sage from Rated M for Immaturity actually just reviewed that on the channel, and he
Mhm.
said it's his early Game of the Year contender. So
Interesting.
very nice there. So
Well,
Dante,
it's made by the same people who did It Takes Two.
yeah, which also won Game of the Year.
Yes,
Don't
they
forget.
did. It was very
Uh,
well deserved. It's a good game.
Yeah, I won that. So yeah, very very great game there. Getting great reviews. Meaty Portable's on right now. She's playing at WWE 2K25. You're not a wrestling guy, right, Nick? You don't watch wrestling.
No, I'm not a pro wrestling guy. It's not that I turn my nose up at that sport. Okay, it's a little like that, but I've just never really gotten into it. It was never my thing.
Yeah, I mean I don't think you can call it a. It's not a sport, right?
Ish. Yeah, it's a sport.
You put
I
your
mean,
body through a lot of effort, even if some of it is staged. They still put
staged
their body
choreo.
on the line, and it
Yeah,
does a hell of a toll over time.
true.
I mean, we call stunt performers and stunt actors, athletes
Hmm.
in that kind of category. So I don't see professor. I kind of see professional wrestling in that same kind of light.
Okay, yeah. Cal is on, good friend of the channel. He's playing that Repo. He's doing that Repo there.
Hmm.
So he's doing
Mhm.
that. Great guy, Cal there. All right. Did you guys have a preference? Which one you wanted to do first there? All right.
Well, I didn't see Black Bag, so it's up to you guys.
Okay. Did you see Black Bag there?
Hmm.
All right. Let's do Black Bag first there. Get that out
Okay.
of the way, and then we'll do these other two movies there. All right. Let me pull up my notes for this Black Bag.
I feel like I got to turn my cinephile card in because I missed a Steven Soderbergh movie.
It's fine. He,
Yeah. Well,
he
I
has
mean,
his duds.
yeah.
Oh man,
I mean, he does
oh
release a
that's
lot of
disappointing.
movies. I mean, I think this is his like
Yeah,
36th.
it's his second movie this year, which
Yeah.
it was this and Presence,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
which
they're
I
very
which
different.
I liked Presence on a technical level, but I have a lot of issues with that script and
Mm.
some of the actors' performances. But shit, the heavyweight kind of talent you have in Black Bag, it had me curious to see it.
Well, let's check it out. All right, people. So our first review of the day is going to be for the film Black Bag. Black Bag is the second Steven Soderbergh film this year. He had another movie come out called Presence earlier in the year, which I like quite a bit. It's one of my early favorite movies of the year. Steven Soderbergh, very a director that has a lot of variety in his catalog: spy films, action films, heist films, horror films. He does a lot of variety of different things there. Here, this is a spy thriller film here, completely opposite of what he had come out last year with Presence, which was a horror thriller. And this is starring Kate Blanchett and Michael Fassbender here. Uh, and then in this film here, it deals with a married couple who are Kate Blanchett and Michael Fassbender. They play Catherine and George. They work at a British spy intelligence agency there. And then it gets reported to George there that his wife may or may not be a traitor to the nation. He has to investigate her and kind of figure out, really, is she the one betraying the nation? So it kind of leads to this whole kind of investigation here. Who really is the traitor? Who is this mole? Who is really behind these events there? And there's like a MacGuffin in the movie. The MacGuffin is called Severance, is the thing there. This possible thing. It's just really, I mean, it's just a typical spy movie MacGuffin that's in here. Really, the main kind of juiciness of the story, the meat of the story, is the marriage between these two people and the fact that they work at the spy agency, and of course doing what spies do, lying, deceiving for a living. It's like, how do you live together? How do you even have a functional relationship when that is your main occupation? Um, and then they also have these friends here as well, who they kind of have these almost friends slash suspects, who they also, he has to kind of narrow it down between who is possibly the person that's doing this. And the thing about what's established in this movie is that Michael Fassbender's character George is an elite person at telling who is a liar and who isn't. He has almost mutant level ability to tell, who is and who isn't lying. So that's also an added thing to there. So yeah. And as you can see in the film right here, Michael Fassbender, he just borrowed his wardrobe from his Steve Jobs film, because he mostly just wears turtlenecks, black turtlenecks. So he just mostly just stole the wardrobe from that film. So yeah, Dusk. What are your thoughts on Black Bag?
Yeah, this movie is interesting because it takes place over a single week, and the main character, played by Fassbender, is basically told by his boss, "We have a leak of information. You got a week to figure it out. You got 4 suspects. One of them's your wife. Is that going to be a problem?" And he's just like, a little bit. Too bad. You got to do your job." He's like, "Okay, I'll do it." And so he goes into trying to figure out who's who. And in typical thriller, action thriller, I mean, I even hesitate to even say action. This is more just a spy thriller of going and figuring out trying to investigate different individuals, find out their secrets. And really it comes down to this. None of that doesn't really matter, if I'm going to be perfectly honest, in this movie. It's there, that's the plot, but really it just comes down to Michael Fassbender and his wife, played by Kate Blanchett, Catherine. That's really what this movie is. Everything else is kind of a dress up. Really, it's a question of you're a spy and you do your things, but there's a question that's brought up pretty heavy-handed in the middle of it. The pretty much is the ethos of the movie. Asked by Catherine, by another character, do you take priority your career or your husband, which is more important? And you never really get the answer, and that leaves you kind of in suspense. But that's ultimately the question: does he matter more, and vice versa? Does she matter more than what you got to do? And that's basically the movie, really. Because if I'm going to be perfectly honest, the movie tries to do its best. The trailers try to do its best to say, like, a lot of things is happening, and oh man, there's going to go a lot of stuff is going to happen. Not much really happens. It's a lot of spinning plates, illusion, smoke and mirrors. Oh, we did all this, and not really. I mean, week happens, passes by, something gets stopped or doesn't, and then that's the end of the movie. So it's kind of very interesting that they kind of try to make it a little more exciting. I mean, I I don't begrudge them because
Mhm.
otherwise, this movie's very, very tepid, very
Mm.
careful, very slow. Oh, yeah, mostly just Michael Fassbender in his cosplay, just walking around as Steve Jobs, spying on people, looking at people. On a cool, calm, and collected. Don't lie to me. That's a great show, by the way. Uh, and that's really most of the movie. And then you get scenes with Kate Blanchett, and they're back and seeing their perspectives, but mostly it's from his, and really that's just kind of the whole front of the movie.
Mm.
Mm.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, this is not a spy movie, like a Bond film
Yeah,
or
this is
or
Tinker
anything
Yeah,
like
Tailor
that.
Soldier Spy level.
yeah,
This is
that
that kind of stuff.
yeah, that's what I'm getting from a lot of this conversation. Uh, it's less something like a Maltese Falcon. It's more closer in tone and structure to Tinker Tailor Soldier
Yeah,
Spy.
and
Yeah.
with the added twist that they try to add a little bit more humanity by making it focus on the relationship of a married couple.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, the action is in the dialogue in it, and this is written by David Kep, who again is
Yeah.
reuniting with Steven Soderbergh. He's done
Mhm.
a number of
Mhm.
other Steven Soderbergh movies there. Also, he just wrote another Steven Soderbergh movie which came out this year, Presence. He wrote that
Mhm.
there for that, and he also did Kimmy as well there, which was another Soderbergh film. So he's a frequent collaborator with Steven Soderbergh. So yeah, a lot of the action is in the dialogue in it of these people kind of going back and forth of the investigation of them constantly questioning each other. The most intense part of this movie is probably a lie detector scene here
Yeah.
where
Mhm.
Michael Fassbender is asking people these questions and then trying to get to the root of who did this. Like, Dust said, so the movie takes place over the course of a week. So, it's like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So these title cards come up to let you know how close, the week is coming to ending. So that's really what you got here. And for me, I mean, I don't think I saw Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. I know for
Mhm.
a lot of people, they were like, okay, this is boring as hell. This is like ridiculously
it,
so.
it is it is a for as celebrated as that movie is, and for the cast that it has,
Yeah.
it is insane that it is as dry and dull as it is.
And for me, I mean, so I can't really compare because I never saw that movie.
Mhm.
Whether if you know what I mean, if you're a person who wasn't really that entertained by that, will you be entertained by
Mhm.
this? Because that movie was over 2 hours long, I believe.
Oh,
It
Yeah,
was, and unfortunately, an over 2 hours long for the amount of what's happening in it.
yeah. Here it's an hour and 40 something minutes, so it's not that
mhm.
long. It's
Okay.
not, and it doesn't feel like a slog to get through.
No, that's the good thing about it. The pacing is pretty
Mhm.
solid.
Yeah.
How would you say the dialogue is? Because that's one of the issues I had with David Kep's last script with Steven
Mhm.
Soderbergh with Presence. Because for as great as
Mhm.
the more older characters in that movie, Lucy Liu and her husband, as great as the dialogue I felt between them, whenever it focused on the younger actors, I felt that there was a noticeable drop in quality.
Hmm. I didn't really feel that with this. I think
Mhm.
here, I think it's really handled very well. Again, I mean, you got really a lot of great actors in this. We talked about a lot about Michael Fassbender and Kate
Mhm.
Blanchett, but outside of them, you have Tom Burke in this, who
Mhm.
people might know. He played Orson Welles in Mank.
Mm.
Did that. He was also the Mad Max character that wasn't Mad Max in Furioso. He was that character. So you have him. You also have Naomi Harris in this as well, who hey, she was also in a Bond movie. Hey, you got her. She was in a Bond movie. You got Pierce Brosnan, you got Bond himself in here, who also does a really great job. You got Reggie John Page in this, who people might know from the Dungeons and Dragons film. He was also in Bridgerton as well, so he's in this film. He's pretty good. But yeah, and then you also have the actress who played Amy Winehouse in the Amy
Oh
Winehouse.
yeah, Martha Bela, who I didn't like that
Mhm.
Amy Winehouse movie, but I'm seeing her more and more in this, and she was also in last season of HBO's Industry.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Besides Kate Blanchett and Michael Fassbender and maybe Pierce Brosnan. I think she's one of the better people in this movie.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Everybody's good, but she really stands out amongst this veteran cast. What do you say about
No, I agree. I agree with a lot of it. A lot of it. We actually don't get to see Pierce Brosnan too much, but he very much has the energy he's kind of given to a lot of later roles. Specifically, this one reminds me a lot of a mostly forgotten film called The Foreigner that he did with Jackie
Mm.
Chan.
I see that. I can see that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it did remind me a lot of that too. Yeah, very because he's the boss basically of all these people working at this intelligence agency
Mm.
there. Yeah, and he's really good there, and his motives come out throughout the movie as well. So yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not as long as something like there. I mean, depends on what your attention span is,
Mhm.
and how much you can sit through this. Because I said it's not your typical, spy action
Mhm.
type film like that. It's not going to be something like that. This is more cerebral. This is more,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Asking questions and doing
Mhm.
investigation and doing a lot of work like that. It's still sexy in its way. I mean, I think you still got Michael Fassbender and Kate Blanchett who bring that sexiness to a spy movie. Kate Blanchett, especially, like this is another movie where her wardrobe is fantastic. Like it's like when she was in Ocean's 8, like everything she wore is like, where did she get that? Like that is incredible. So that you also have that kind of going on with this. Um, but yeah, I mean, you can't wait to see like who's going to be found out. I think the movie keeps you interested in that mystery. The MacGuffin in and of itself, I wasn't really that interested in.
Mhm.
That's not very interesting. But just like I said, Michael Fassbender, him doing his investigation is really interesting, leading to that. Michael Fassbender, I mean, he's great at playing psychos. I mean, he's very good at
Mhm.
playing sociopaths. He did a great job of that when he was in the Alien movies, Prometheus, and those type of films. He did a great job of it in that other movie, The Killer.
Mhm.
He's got a good knack for it. He speaks at one tone throughout the whole movie. Basically, he doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't do anything. Like he just kind of speaks at that one specific tone. And yeah, I mean, he's able to kind of do it. Like you say, he's putting on his best Steve Jobs again for something like this. Hell, he played that was another Psycho. Yeah, Steve
Oh
Jobs.
hell yeah.
There you go. So that was another Psycho. So for me, I would give the movie. I would give it a good strong tune in for me.
Mhm.
I'd give it a good strong. What about you, Des?
Yeah, that's kind of where I end up falling in with it. This movie has a lot of good acting in it. Its dialogue is fairly strong. The unfortunate part is, yeah, the MacGuffin isn't that much more interesting. It's more just
Mhm.
window dressing to the overall story and the topic. And I wished that it meant a little bit more. We had a little bit more of a worry because when you realize what's actually happening and what the stakes are, it's a lot more interesting and could have like elevated it to a much more intense situation. But we really never truly get the sense. It just is a lot of implications
Mhm.
because it lowers it to such a realistic, semi-realistic downturn to just all these like almost like a bottleneck movie where they're going to different places, but it really is only focusing on these certain characters that are involved. We really don't get to see the higher stakes.
Mhm.
Because of that, though, I would say because there's more humanity focus in it and because of the performances, I would definitely say this is just a solid tune in. A lot of the issues, I think, with Presence, the movie he did earlier this year, while good in its own right, is
Mhm.
very different and was very clearly trying to be more experimental.
Mhm.
And that I understand, and that has its own stuff. But this one feels a lot more kind of like pulled back, a lot more structured, a lot more.
Mhm.
This is what I intend to do, and I want to give it more, but I just can't because there are just parts of it that could have been improved upon. But
Mhm.
overall, it's a solid movie.
Yeah,
Definitely solid.
even a director like Steven Soderbergh, even when he's like, this is kind of sounding like this was like a this and Presence is kind of a case of a one for me, one for them. And even when
Hmm.
Soderbergh is like not in his bag, he still makes a movie that is fascinating and interesting to discuss.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair approach to it because, as we said, even the fact that there are things that I think that could
Mhm.
be improved doesn't stop it from getting great performances out of everybody, and having a really good back and forth with his writer, and to make the dialogue feel very much in tone of what you want to happen. So, yeah, very much so.
Mm, yeah. So 2 strong tune-ins for Steven Soderbergh's Black Bag. Check it out. All right. Move on to next movie here. So I was able to stream live on Twitch there. So the reason
Hey.
why it was saying change the title because it was they didn't like the title of the Looney Tunes movie. That's what it was. The day the Earth blew up.
Oh,
So they didn't like. So that's why Twitch was blocked. It was like, oh, you
man,
got to
I
change.
thought I thought we were back in Trump's America. I thought we were all free speech.
Yeah. So
Well, not well. Remember, Twitch has a rules for me, not rules for thee, not for me.
Oh, yep, I
yeah.
forgot about that for a second. My bad.
And then even when I put Looney Tunes, they still wouldn't say it. So I had to even take out
Oh my
Looney
goodness!
Damn,
in there. So,
damn, they still haven't forgiven Pepe Le Pew.
yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, so that was the issue there. But say since we're talking about it, might as well go ahead with the Looney Tunes. Let me pull up notes for that and discuss the good old Looney Tunes movie there.
How nuts is it that we got like a fully animated, theatrically released Looney Tunes movie in 2025?
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty cool. Not gonna lie.
It is pretty cool, especially considering the studio that owns that.
Yes, considering the many unfortunate projects they've been a part with and fumbled constantly.
Mm.
I will say before we even get into the review, this may be the first time anyone's even heard of this movie
Yeah,
because of the marketing.
Yeah, or lack thereof.
Exactly.
Oh,
I didn't
right.
even know it existed until last week
Yeah.
when we were going
Yeah,
over notes, and I mentioned to Josh, "Wait, there's a Looney Tunes movie coming out." And he's like, "There is? Yeah, it's coming out. It just came out. It's just about to come out."
Yeah, and like even discussing it, it was like, yeah, there's a Looney Tunes movie. Oh yeah, I'll check it out on Max when I get home from work. It was like, oh, it's in theaters. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out on Max originally, but originally like in 2021 it was announced and it was really set to be released, and but they just delayed it because they were supposed to have an Acme night block on Max with all their cartoons, and they just dropped the ball on that and just said, well, we'll wait 3 years for this.
Thanks, Sad Lab.
They released it in 2024 in a limited market, and then they're like, okay, we'll do a full release now.
All right, let's get into it. So, our next review of the day is going to be for The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie. Here it follows Daffy Duck and Porky Pig, classic Looney Tunes characters there on an adventure of their own. Here you have them fighting off an alien invasion here. While they're on a search for a job here because their house is in ruins, and they said like, hey, if you don't fix this roof on your house, classic cartoon type plot here, you got to raise some money to fix your house here because it's in disarray and you need repairs on it. While they have this job at a chewing gum factory, they stumble on, well, mostly you have Daffy who stumbles onto this plot here of going on of an alien invasion, and it's up to these cartoon characters along with Putana Pig there to stop them. They're the Earth's only hope. So that's the setup you got here of this film here. And yeah, it's a Looney Tunes movie in theaters right now. Like you said, Warner Brothers, who just recently they took off the Looney Tunes from HBO Max. They took off all the cartoons from that network. There was an article that came out that said they did that. And then that's what's kind of been the case a lot for Warner Brothers. There, not really respecting a lot of their animated properties, just removing it from the streaming service. Not only just the Looney Tunes stuff, but also like the Cartoon Network stuff, Powerpuff Girls, and Codenames Kid Next Door, and a variety of other cartoons there. They just removed there.
Heck, it's bad when Warner Brothers is kicking their cash cow and Batman to Prime.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that Batman, the Cape Crusade, that was bouncing around between which streaming service that was going to end up. At one time, it was rumored that it was going to be maybe Disney Plus. It's like it's going to stream on Disney Plus. But yeah, so they found a home at Amazon Prime. Nick, what are your thoughts on The Day the Earth Blew Up?
So I mostly, my knowledge of the Looney Tunes, at least people my age, a lot of it comes from Space Jam. So I didn't really see a lot of the original run of cartoons, but once Max came out and they brought back the Looney Tunes, I got to see a lot of the shorts between Porky Pig and Daffy Duck. And I guess they were like one of the odd couple pairings on here. And the movie, I think its biggest priority is that it's funny. You see the chemistry between Porky and Daffy in the voice performance by Eric Bauza, who is both of them, and their usual wacky hijinks. They did a good job of sticking with classic kind of cartoon humor. There are jokes for like modern day sensibilities, but they come quick and they actually get a laugh out of me.
Yeah, there's the Daffy starts a OnlyFans, or what is he? Becomes a Instagram thought. Yeah,
He gives himself the BBL.
yeah. So you got some of those kind of going on there. Yeah, but I didn't want to cut you off. You had any more there, or
But yeah, the movie does a really good job of dancing that line of, because Daffy is kind of the nuisance character. He's the the reason for a lot of the shenanigans they get into. They do a good job of using that to set up conflict between Porky and Daffy, but
oh,
never crossing a line.
oh, real quick, Nick Hunter from the Real Pineapple. He redeemed Nick does his Mickey Mouse impression. I don't know if you
Oh,
Oh God.
it's like, oh,
want-
oh, go see this movie. Go see the Snow White instead. Oh,
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I mean
there you
that
go.
is a Mickey
There you
Mouse
go,
thing.
baby.
Always pimping Disney products. That is a very typical Mickey Mouse thing. Dusk. What are your thoughts on the day that Earth blew up there?
Well, despite the marketing, the lack thereof, I honestly really appreciate that there not only is a lot of stuff in this movie for people who
Mhm,
are like newer generation, but there's also a lot of old school jokes in it
mhm.
that you really had to like. Even in the trailer, there's like a cutaway and it shows someone that's kind of painted in and with a weird reaction. I'm like, that is a 1930s gag. Like that is straight from the cartoons. They would maybe do that from the older ones. They'd have it like a drawn in, so they wouldn't animate all the way through. It would just like be minimal animation, but they make it super detailed for one really specific joke. And I'm like, that. So there's also references to previous stuff they had done, but also kind of doing their own plot. Honestly, all things considered, I had a lot of fun with this movie. It was kind of nice just seeing a Looney Tunes movie that I chuckled at and actually
Mhm.
had some solid jokes. And two, the
Yeah.
animation is actually it has its moments. There's some
Mhm.
lesser moments in the animation, but overall, there are actually some moments where I was surprised, especially like the weird alien stuff. The real aliens, you're like, okay, you kind of went there with the animation. And honestly, it's just great seeing 2D animation. We just should never not keep using 2D animation.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, this will be a throwback to people who, are fans to the Looney Tunes movies there. Doesn't forget about, like as Nick mentioned, it has jokes for old, new, Looney Tunes fans there.
I mean,
Um,
my screening, it was mostly people my age. It was mostly adults at the screening, and we were all laughing our butts off.
oh yeah. Yeah, I saw mostly older people there too, and some older people who brought their kids there. It's like, well, what you know about some Looney Tunes? Let me show you some Looney Tunes. They
Yeah,
have
it's
good
like,
old board.
yeah, that Porky Pig rapping in Space Jam 2, that ain't the Looney Tunes.
Yeah. So that was pretty good there. Yeah, it's good, and I would say, this being a feature length film of the Looney Tunes there, this is hour and a half. It's a decent runtime there. Sometimes it does feel like some skits kind of at first, like back to back to back. Like you're watching like a stream of Looney Tunes kind of skits there, kind of back to back. Did you
Well,
guys feel like
well, there's a reason for that, and it is, you know, it is kind of back-to-back sketches, but those are like for a montage, and it's setting up the inciting incident of the film, which is Porky and Daffy getting jobs at this gum factory because they screw up every other job that they get.
I
yeah.
mean, as par for the course.
Hunter from the Pineapple said Disney and Warner Brothers in general will be better companies if they embrace more 2D animation. Also, the disrespect Warner Brothers and Disney have shown Looney Tunes and the Muppets, respectively, is embarrassing.
Amen.
Um,
Amen.
I do agree with that as well there. But yeah, I mean, I still
I,
liked
I
it.
mean, I mean, Warner doesn't respect the Looney Tunes enough to not let Daffy Duck get murdered by Scorpion.
Yeah.
Uh, well, at least he choked the shit out of him. He had that kind of going. You did have to kind of get on.
I
Yes.
mean, I mean, Daffy is a character that is very easy for him to get on your nerves, and half the time I was ready to choke him out.
Yeah.
To also be fair, so is Bugs Bunny.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I mean,
but that was always a thing in the tunes. It's like he's never like that with Bugs because he knows Bugs will like wreck his shit.
Yeah, Bugs can not only give it, he can take it as well. They're both tricksters, but Daffy's just more incompetent.
and much like kind of with cartoon stuff, you have cartoon characters, but you take a film there and you kind of toss them in there.
Mhm.
Here, obviously, it's using the title from The Day the Earth Stood Still. There, classic sci-fi
Mhm.
film. It's doing classic sci-fi invasion films there that you have kind of going on here as well. There, a
Yeah,
lot
Yeah,
of
in the
the
90s, they did
yeah,
a
there's
special. They did a special about the body invasion of the body snatchers.
mhm.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
there's a lot of that in this. There's a lot of yeah, like we said, Day the Earth Stood Still, um, even a little bit of a zombie and almost the Thing.
Mm.
the thing, yeah, a little bit of that kind of going on. Great voice work. I mean, Eric Balzan, who does the Daffy Duck and Porky Pig, does a great job at doing both the
Mhm.
voices. There, and obviously they've had many I mean, since the original incarnation of those characters to
Mhm.
kind of come along to do the voices of Porky Pig, of Daffy Duck, and I don't think he's misses a beat here. There as well. One of my favorite voices in here, you have Peter McNicol there, who shows up as the alien. I think he has a really fun thing, and and people might know him. He was in Ghostbusters there, way back, the
Mhm.
second Ghostbusters film there. He was in that. That's kind of one of the more famous roles he's done. But he's a longtime legendary actor, been in many, many things before. There, he does a great voice work here as the alien. Yeah, this was a treat to watch. I mean, just all the way through there to watch this, like this throwback type of a movie here to this classic kind of Looney Tune style. Like I said, appreciate that they put it in theaters there. I just wish they marketed it better and advertised it better
Oh
to
yeah.
people.
Yeah, because
Uh,
the movie's budget isn't huge. It's only
15
$15
million.
million,
Yeah.
and
Perfect.
it did respectable for its opening weekend with 6.9 million.
Yeah.
I'm
So it's
hoping
not,
word of mouth allows it to get more play.
Mhm.
yeah. You're part of that word and you're part of that mouth
Yes.
there.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what I'm hoping.
yeah. Hey, I got a mouth. It's saying the words.
Mhm.
Yeah. And hey, I mean, it's a great family movie. You want to take your family to see this, like I
Oh
said.
yeah, I'm kind of mad that that I didn't get a chance to take my niece and nephew to see this because I feel like they would have loved it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Seeing these characters here, yeah, OP level cartoon characters surviving everything in the world. You got kind of like that there, So yeah, I mean, this is a great time. Like I said, it appeals to kind of older fans of Looney Tunes. It can also appeal to younger fans there, get them
Mhm.
involved in it, as well there. And I think it's really great for that. Hunter said, so it's slightly better than Moana 2. Yeah, yeah, uh,
Slightly.
yeah.
um, yeah, slightly.
Yeah, I can see this. I mean, being maybe nominated. You have best animated feature there, Looney Tunes
Uh,
movie. Yeah,
I would, but it feels like it's a little too early in the year to tell, and you never know with the Academy. I mean,
yeah,
they don't even watch the movies that are nominated for Best Picture.
Correct.
yeah. True, that is true there. But it is one. I mean, because what other big animated movie came out this year? Was it
I
Moana
don't think
2? I
they.
guess Moana 2, right?
Yeah, Moana 2 was the last big one that came out last year.
Yeah. But Disney's been losing. They've been on a losing streak. They've lost 4 best animated features in a row.
Hmm.
I mean, so
Mm,
they lost 4. So it's never happened before.
Well, they're gonna
good.
go back to the drawing board.
Hey, the movies that got nominated, good.
Yeah, because like Flow won, and it was up
Mhm.
against, and I love Inside Out too. I thought Inside
Mhm.
Out 2 was
And the Wild Robot.
there and the Wild Robot, but
I was actually
Flow,
surprised that Flo won. That was a
Mhm.
big like. Oh wow, okay.
yeah, I was
Not that
surprised.
it's a bad movie by any means, but
Yeah, yeah, it's
Um,
because it's such a smaller movie, and yeah, I
yeah,
was
and it
happy
was
for
made
it.
in Blender
Yeah,
by one guy.
free
yeah,
video software. So
yeah, free video software starring my cat right here.
Yeah.
yeah, the darkness, the void, right there. Yeah, got
The
that.
Void is an Oscar winner. Isn't
Yeah,
that right, video?
very very cute. So Nick, final thoughts, rating for The Day That Earth Blew Up. Looney Tunes.
I'm just amazed that we even got a theatrically released Looney Tunes movie, especially considering all of the disrespect by Warner Brothers of that studio. But I'm surprised that the chemistry between Porky and Daffy is this good. You feel the conflict, you feel the love and affection that both of them have for each other. The jokes are always funny, even the like quicker ones, the ones that I didn't think I would laugh as hard at, like Daffy Duck giving himself a BBL. I still found funny. This is a great introduction to kids of science fiction, a good window into that kind of classic genre. And I can't say anything more, but how fun the movie is. I saw this on Thursday night, exhausted, just kind of like, I kind of don't want to go to the movies, but I left having had a great time. I can't give this anything but tune in.
Nice. All right. What about you, Dustin?
Yeah, no, this is definitely a solid tune in. I was happy to see a 2D animated movie in theaters, which is great. But also seeing, honestly, these old American art icons just kind of showing up on TV screen for a new generation. I think that's great, and it's definitely has a lot of homages to the past, but also has some fun stuff here. Does all the newer kind of stuff work? Maybe not necessarily, but overall, it's a very strong movie, and it was just good to see. It was just pretty chill. It was a pretty funny movie, and heck, we use a lot more of that. So sign me up.
Yeah. I give it a strong tune in as well. Yeah, I think it's a solid movie. It'll make you go back and want to watch old Looney Tunes cartoons if you can find them.
I cut on the Max Looney Tunes cartoons second I got home from the theater.
And
you remember the one where Daffy makes Porky suck snake venom out? Like, do it. Like,
I also can't. I don't know if we talked about this, but I can't stress you enough how happy I was that this movie is 91 minutes. It is 91 minutes. It is get in, get out, perfect movie length, and it's done.
Yep. Not everything needs to be 2.5 hours. Sometimes you can just, see a movie for 90 minutes and say, that's all, folks.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it gets in, gets out. Yeah, it has that kind of runtime there that's very efficient, doesn't waste a lot of time, does the plot there, sets
It
it up.
doesn't overstay its welcome.
Yeah, so you got that, which I think is very good. Yeah, I mean, I hope this movie can be successful. They put out more Looney Tunes movies in theaters.
Yeah. I said put it in my letterbox. It was like, yeah, this was great. Now release Coyote versus Acme, David Zaslav, you messy bitch.
That's a tax write off. I think that's unless they're willing to pay the tax write off on that.
There's like a little bit of hope that they are exploring the possibility of potentially selling it to Catch Up Entertainment, who released The Day the Earth Blew Up.
Oh, okay, yeah. That actually would
work.
work. That also means
the hope is not dead yet.
Well, see this in theaters, buy it in Blu-ray.
See it in theaters. See it in theaters first, and then buy it on digital, Blu-ray, 4K. All.
But yeah, no, this was a very solid film, and I'm really happy to see it again. I might see it again next week.
Yeah. So 3 tune-ins all around for the Looney Tunes movie. Hunter said, "Yeah, it's shorter than Moana 2. LOL, hot damn, I'm more sold."
You should be 90 minutes.
Moana 2,
hour and a half.
Moana 2, I felt like it was pushing 2 hours.
Yeah, well, it barely hit the plot for 30 minutes.
Yeah, it was an hour and 40 minutes.
Jesus.
Yeah, because it was 100 minutes. Yeah, okay. So yeah, it was an hour and 40. All right. Yeah. All right, let's get into this last review. Speaking of Disney, we got a Disney movie on deck.
Woo!
You got a Disney movie on deck.
Oh, another one of my girls getting back out of the corner.
Oh man. Let's see here. Good old Snow White. Yeah. Let's get into this. All right. And you guys saw this movie, Snow White there. Okay, so our last review of the day is going to be for the film Snow White. Snow White is the latest of the live action Disney remakes here. This time they're adapting, of course, Snow White, as the movie suggests there. Now, I have never seen the 1937 Snow White.
Mhm.
Have you, any of you guys seen it?
I saw it a long time ago when I was a little kid, but I haven't revisited it a lot.
What about you, Dustin?
A couple of years back, I just decided to do a few movies from the older Walt Disney era just to see.
Mm,
It's been a while though, but from what I recall, I mean, it's still impressive
Mhm.
even now. A lot of the
Yeah,
animation is just incredible.
mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, because prior to this, I think I remember having a conversation with a couple animator friends, and what this movie did for animation, it's essentially what Jurassic Park did for CGI, where it just upped the level of animation because characters weren't this expressive prior to Snow White.
Mm, nice. Good animation history there. But yes, but Snow White
Mhm.
is one of those things. I mean, it's been adapted many, many different times
Mhm.
before. From Disney, there was the Julia Roberts movie Mirror Mirror. There was that there where Julia Roberts played the evil queen, and then I think it
Mhm.
was Lily Collins who played the
Yeah,
princess in
Lily Collins was the princess in that, and that's the one where they had actual dwarves play the seven dwarves. And then there was also Snow White and the Huntsman, which was the action movie for the Twilight crowd.
Yeah, Snow White and the Huntsman, which we had Kristen Stewart, who was the Snow White, and then you had Charlize Theron, who was the evil queen there. That was the CW Lord of the Rings, Game of
Mhm.
Thrones version of Snow White there. You also had the movie with Sigourney Weaver, where she was the evil queen, where it was Snow White, a tale of terror there. You had that kind of going on. So yeah,
All infinitely better choices for the evil queen than Gal Gadot.
yeah. And we're going to get into Gail Gadot. So it's Gadot. I always thought it was Godot, so it's Gadot apparently. Okay, I always thought it was Godot, but yeah, we're gonna get into her in a minute. So in this movie here, who's playing the new Snow White and new evil queen? You have Rachel Zegler there, who's the new Snow White, and you have Gadot there, who's the evil queen. And it basically follows if you know Snow White and you know the
Mhm.
basic premise of Snow White. It hits all those pretty much same beats. You got an evil bitch stepmother who comes in, who marries the princess's father. Then he ends up dying, and she ends up taking over and
Mhm.
then rules the kingdom with an iron fist. And it's up to Snow White to fight back against the evil queen and to save her homeland and to save all the townspeople there under the evil rule of the queen. Basically, yeah, if you've seen Snow White before, it basically hits all those same beats before.
Mhm.
And this is directed by Mark Webb. People might know Mark Webb. He directed 500 Days of Summer, which I loved a lot. I love 500 Days of Summer.
Mhm.
I love that movie. Ever since then, not have been a fan of anything he's done. He did the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Not a fan of that. He did also what was the other something he did before?
He did that Chris Evans movie Gifted, which I actually like that movie quite a bit, and also The Only Living Boy in New York.
Okay, I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen that one. Gifted, I think I did. I think I did see that one. I was kind of mailing it. But yeah, Mark Webb, who did that, I don't think anything he's done has been as good as 500 Days of Summer. So yeah, so he's the one directing this. And like Nick was saying before the review, there, this movie, much like with a lot of Disney stuff going on, embroiled in controversy there of the decisions some of the people made, some of the actors, and then some of the interviews there. Rachel Ziegler, I know for some reason people hate Rachel Ziegler for some reason.
Mhm.
But yeah, you kind of got that kind of going on.
For some reason,
I don't really know exactly what reason why people don't like Rachel Ziegler.
Mhm.
I guess she said something rude in an interview or something.
she said, this is not part of the review, but yeah,
Uh,
she's made certain comments that had not sit well with fans of the original film, and
and people pretending to care about the original film.
Oh,
sure, but
the diehard Snow White fans there. Okay.
hey,
Uh,
there are there are diehard Disney fans.
yeah, I know there's Disney adults. I know that there's
Yeah.
people.
However, listening to that interview, she wasn't wrong. There are a lot of things in the original Snow White that didn't really age great. Like with the that story, it's basically Snow White is less of a character and it's more focused on the animation.
Yeah. And that's the thing when they do these adaptations, these live action remakes, and some of these Disney princesses, is that some of them don't
Mhm.
really, in when you watch the original versions of them, they don't really have a lot going on personality wise. So you got to
Mhm.
like kind of update it to make them a little bit more
Mhm.
of characters. It feels like they try to do that. They try to do that a lot with Belle and the Beauty and the Beast movie. They try to make her like this genius inventor, and Belle can make all
Yep.
these things and do all this.
And yeah, and in the Aladdin remake, where Princess Jasmine's goal was to become an evil dictator.
Yeah, she was gonna be like Michelle Yeoh in Section 31. She was like, I'm gonna be the new emperor, I'm gonna be there. So yeah, they try to more update it there to fit more modern times there. They've done that. That was kind of also a big thing about this movie is that hey, this is gonna be a Snow White for more of the modern times, modern generation here. Except I don't know really what's that modern about it. Like I said, it's the same beats as the other Snow White
Yeah,
film.
it's the same beats that you get in a lot of Snow White films, but just comparing this to the original, they flesh out a little bit more of her parents' backstory, a little bit more fleshed out of how the queen came to be in power.
Yeah. Yeah, and Rachel Ziegler, I don't know. I don't know if that movie's cursed or not, but West Side Story, because it's like Ariana DeBose and then her. It's like I love them both in that movie, but ever
Mhm.
since then, it's just been like terrible shit after terrible shit. Like,
Whoa, 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 whoa,
well, Hunger
whoa.
Games was okay. Hunger,
Ariana DeBose, I'll give you that. But Rachel Zegler, okay, terrible shit. Then I liked Hunger Games a lot, and then this.
okay. I didn't see that movie Y2K, but I heard that wasn't all that
Yeah,
great.
great premise, bad ladder execution. That movie
Ooh.
unfortunately got chopped up.
Yeah,
It originally had a different vibe to it, and it got chopped up by the release.
Oh
They forcibly
man.
changed it.
and then she was in the Shazam 2 sequel, which was really
Ooh.
weak. She was in that
I
one.
mean, people barely even remember her in
Ooh.
that movie. People
Yeah.
barely remember that movie at all.
Yeah. And I didn't see that animated movie I didn't see that Spellbound. I did not see that. But yeah, so yeah, beautiful voice. I mean, beautiful voice. Rachel, I think she's got a really great voice there. I think like I said, really shine and really impressed there in West Side Story. And I think she impresses here with a lot of the songs that she's able to deliver here in Snow White. It's one of the few things I think that's actually good about the movie. Hunter from Real Pineapple said Dust couldn't put the review better for Y2K. It's yeah, LOL there. So you have that. So I think if you are going to say, one of the positive things about this movie, I think Rachel Ziegler is kind of probably
Mm.
going to be one of the positive things to say
Yeah,
about that.
she is giving a great performance opposite a lot of CGI nothing and also Gal Gadot.
Yeah. And also combating the fact that she looks like Lord Farquaad from Shrek. Also combating that. She
Yeah, that wig they gave her is not doing her any favors.
and I know they're trying to make her look like
Yeah,
Snow White.
they're trying to make her look like the character from the animation, but yeah, it yeah, she's looking at she's looking a little Lord Farquaadish.
Yeah. But I guess you could say, I mean, because the queen does make her cut her hair. So I guess you could say maybe the queen does it on purpose to make her look ugly. 'Cause she
Oh yeah.
wants to be the most beautiful person in all the land. So I guess you could say you can kind of work at that as an excuse,
Or
maybe.
maybe that was something they added in post.
What the hair? Oh,
So yeah, no, I totally cut her hair to.
oh, yeah. So I mean, if you want to give an explanation of why it looks so terrible, I guess you can throw that in there. Of why it looks bad. But yeah. So get around, get you guys' thoughts on there. Dusk, what are your thoughts here on the Snow White film?
Uh, okay, this one's kind of hard. As a concept of remaking movies, I've never been a fan of the live action Disney
Mhm,
remakes, anyways. To
mhm.
me, they're superfluous. There's no point to them. You already have the originals. There's really no point in retreading ground of ideas and concepts that you had already worked on. Uh, make something new. Don't just retread the ground. Now, I'd say the earlier ones were a little more successful.
Mhm.
But once they got
Yeah,
okay,
at least with a lot of the earlier ones, they were a lot of films that were, had kind of fallen out of the zeitgeist. Because,
sure,
Sleeping Beauty, that movie was like over like 80, 90 years old.
sure,
Uh, but, once they started remaking the movies that were like 90s,
like
like,
instant classics that
Mulan, Beauty and the
Mulan.
Beast,
Oh yeah,
Little
that
Mermaid.
one was god awful. All of them are awful in their own way. The only one like Snow. I'm sorry. The one you mentioned earlier.
Little Mermaid,
No,
Beauty and the
not
Beast,
fuck no.
Mulan.
Uh, Sleeping
Oh,
Beauty.
Sleeping Beauty.
oh,
Sleeping Beauty was one of the earlier ones. That not or whatever that one. That oh my god, I'm
Maleficent?
blanking. The one with the glass slipper.
Cinderella.
Yeah,
Cinderella.
Cinderella.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. The one you mentioned
Oh,
earlier. Oh
okay.
my god, I blanked out for half a second. There's too many. There's too many
There's too many
goddamn
of them
movies.
now.
There's two of them now. Cinderella was all right, and then the one with the oh my god, Jungle Book. The Jungle Book
Yeah.
one was actually
Yeah.
kind of interesting, and that was not too bad. It had its problems, but it was at least trying. Everything else past that was just retreading ground, and even those ones arguably retreaded ground, but they were at least older ones, weren't really talked about, and they were trying to do something a little different while doing this. This one especially has been marred with problems.
Mhm.
It from its production problems to its multiple reshoots to it just has so many bad elements that has been working against it. And honestly, unfortunately, you can tell in this movie. There are rearrangements of songs here. Some of them are just the classics, but they're all right. Sang fine enough by oh my god,
Rachel Zegler.
yes, Rachel.
Yeah, by Rachel Zegler
Rachel
and
Zegler.
and the dwarves.
Yeah, about those dwarves.
They
Um,
it's like Robert Zemeckis met that CGI Winnie the Pooh from Christopher Robin, and they had a fucking incest baby of nightmare fuel, because that is what the dwarves look like in this.
it was honestly nightmarish, and the person who decided to make all the dwarves CGI not only wasted hundreds of millions of dollars, they could have just got actors to do it. I know Tyrion Lannister basically made a comment
Peter
and
Dick.
said,
Yeah. Peter Dinklage was basically a pull the ladder up from
yeah, he did
behind him.
from
As far
behind
as
the other
dwarf
actor,
actors.
the other dwarf actors. Shame on him.
Damn. Peter Dinklage
And
is Uncle Dwarf there. Damn.
yeah, he pretty much was. He screwed over his fellow dwarf actors and took roles that could have made a career for a newer career. Could have had another Peter Dinklage Tyrion Lannister moment where if they had done this movie correctly. But unfortunately, that's just the small part of the problems with this movie. Look, Rachel Zegler, aside from all the controversy and the fact that she kept opening her mouth and saying a lot of dumb crap, she's young, relatively young,
Yeah.
and she got brought up to stardom because of the West Side Story.
Yeah,
I'm giving the biggest benefit of the doubt as I possibly can for young people saying stupid shit and not having, and also it being overblown. That's fine. I got nothing against it. I have no dog in that fight. But even still, when she's barely the best thing about this movie, you got problems. Because
yeah, she's the best thing in it, but there is the margin is not as wide as we are trying to make it sound.
Yeah.
Hunter trying to make a little guy joke. He's saying
I
he
know,
doesn't
he
get
is.
so
Oh,
many.
fuck you. Fuck you, Hunter.
It's fine.
Yeah. The dwarves are disturbing. I mean, I got a little bit used to them as the movie went on.
Yeah, they are pure nightmare fuel.
They are very disturbing. There's no life behind the eyes.
None at all.
There were kids in my screening of it when I saw it today, and it took every fiber of my being to not scream, "Oh, fuck," when they popped up on screen.
Yeah. I mean, you get a little bit used to it as maybe the movie goes on. Maybe
you got used to it.
I don't know. I mean, I got a little bit used to it, I guess, as the movie was going on.
Well, there is like a part in the second act of this movie where they kind of forget about the dwarves in favor of this other merry band of 7 bandits that I guess were left over from a different version of this film where the dwarves weren't in it at all.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So the prince is in this, and the prince, instead of being a traditional prince, he's basically it's Robin Hood. He's
I mean,
got
he's not a
Robin.
prince at all.
Yeah, he's not a prince
Yeah,
at
He's
all.
just a
he's just
thief.
he's a rogue who's
He's a
very
handsome thief,
starlight.
but he's a thief.
Yeah.
Because that makes it all better. Because I bet you if he was butt ugly,
Hey, you can forgive a lot of crime. Hey, people are willing to forgive a lot of crimes
unfortunately,
if they
yes.
are hot.
No, it is correct. You are correct, sir.
Yeah. Who's in this? So yes, he's basically
Yeah,
Robin Hood,
it's
and he's got his own merry
yeah,
band
and
of
he's
misfits.
played by Andrew Burnap, who was just in the front room last year. He was also the voice of Laramie's in Red Dead Redemption 2.
Okay. Nice. So yeah, you have that. They don't. I mean, they don't have zero chemistry. Him and Rachel Ziegler, I didn't feel any real connection, chemistry there between them.
They have a musical number, which a lot of the newer music in this is done by Justin Paul and Benji Pasek, who wrote the music for Dear Evan Hansen and are one of the few EGOTs that we have. And yeah, none of these songs are really hitting.
Yeah, very forget. Sometimes they'll do that. They'll add in new songs with the original classic songs everybody knows. I didn't really remember them that well. I don't think any of them was that striking of like, oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna listen to this afterwards. Yeah, I don't think it has anything kind of going on there. I've seen some reviews there of like this is one of the better Disney live action remakes.
Oh
I mean,
God.
the bar isn't high.
I don't think it's better than Little Mermaid. I think.
Oh hell no.
I don't think, and that one I wasn't even too high on, but I think
It was
that
like
Little Mermaid was.
Yeah, Little Mermaid. I was like, okay, this is fine, but I was expecting much worse.
Yeah. Like that's what's saying. I mean, I think the best one of these is the Jungle Book film. I think still is the gold standard is the Jungle Book film, and what they kind of did with that. And here with the Snow White film, they said okay, which is fine. You want to do more of a modern thing with it. I didn't really get that much modernness with it. Okay, you threw in some black people in here. You got extra black people in this,
No,
and maybe side
I
characters.
think the more modern sensibility is Snow White. Her drive in this is to take back to free the kingdom from her stepmother's tyranny. It's to take her rightful place as the ruler of this land. And I guess that's what they mean when they talk about this movie's more updated sensibilities.
Yeah, socialism.
And at least with
Kind of, yeah.
something like Snow White and the Huntsman, at least this. Oh, that's not Snow White and the Huntsman.
I would have rather watched that movie.
At least this had a good, like. At least it did something different. At least it was kind of like it was like dark fantasy.
It had a different take. It is very it's more dark fantasy, and you actually bought Charlize Theron as the evil queen.
And she played a great evil king, and it's like okay, it's and then look at her covered in milk that she feeds to the giving them butt milk. Got that. And yeah, it's more of like this dark fantasy kind of element here. Snow White is like Joan of Arc, and she's leading this revolution here and everything like that. Like that's kind of like it's something. It's kind of cool. It's kind of different, at least there in her interpretation of Snow White. Here it's like I said, it's like okay, you're telling the same story, not really much good spin on it.
Yeah, there isn't much of a spin on it in any of those story beats. It feels more like lip service than anything else.
Yeah. Hunter said, damn, you love Moana. Damn, Moana 2, man, maybe you really got to seek your love.
He's saying he hates Moana 2.
Yeah. Moana 2, are the songs worse than Moana 2?
All right.
I like
Have you ever heard the first movies? Congratulations. You've heard the soundtrack for this, but maybe not as strong. And then they added some new songs, and none of those are good.
I think I don't think they're as good as Moana. In Moana 2, I don't
Princess Problems.
I don't think.
Oh, that's going to be a classic. I can't wait for all the kids to be singing Princess Problems. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah. I mean, like none of the songs hit except for the original ones. That's it.
What about Gal Gadot? Yeah. We're going to talk about Gal Gadot.
Oh, hell no.
Gal Gadot.
It's like, the woman cannot act. She cannot sing. She delivers all of her lines with the emotional range of a block of wood. How she got this role?
Because she's beautiful.
She does. I mean, physically, she looks like the evil queen. I mean, physically, she's got it down.
Although I don't know why she would be jealous of Snow White. And they even give a reason. They had to remake a reason why she would even be jealous because it's like, oh no, she's the most fair. What do you mean fair? Is like fair? You mean beautiful? Oh no, I didn't mean beautiful. I just meant fair, as in she can fairly give things, I suppose.
Well, I
Which is
mean,
not what the original meant, but sure.
um, but she is awful. Every time it cut to her, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not even. I mean, really, just awful all the way around. In that, like she, when she's singing, she's so over exaggerated. And it seems like that would
Yeah,
maybe
it's
work.
like there is a. I think they do that because the villain songs are always like meant to be a little bit more bombastic, but
Mhm.
Yeah,
she doesn't have the vocal range to carry it.
yeah,
It's like
exactly.
you need an actor who, one can sing, but who can also have that larger than life presence when you're doing one of these villain songs.
Yeah, and she does not have that at all in here. And like every time it cut to her, even when she was just doing normal dialogue, she was still
Mhm.
terrible. Even the
I
first
was like,
scene.
how are you this bad at wanting to murder children allegedly?
Yeah, yeah, you know what I mean. You should have a lot of experience. IDF, you should have a lot of experience. But
Mm.
yeah, I mean, it just
Allegedly.
but like just look at like a little bit of this. I'm gonna show like a clip of her doing a little bit of it. Her
It's
act.
like you're a bad actor when Watch Mojo, which is like one of the least biting media channels, has a compilation of all of your worst line deliveries.
Yeah, like
We got a lot to choose from.
There's that compilation is long.
yeah. Let me
Like,
just like this is a
hello,
little
no,
Kal-El, no.
like even just this is the I
Max
think this is
Lord.
her one of her first scenes in the movie right here, and this is bad. Let me play a little bit.
Please. You were saying.
It's just, Your Majesty, people are struggling, and it may not be much, but when I was young, my parents and I we'd pick apples. We'd take them and make pies, then go out into the village.
Pies. Pies are luxuries. They don't need luxuries. It confuses them.
Yeah, that just is like what the. I mean, and I'm not trying to really
It's like,
bully this
is
woman
this
as hard,
supposed to
but
be played straight, or is this
yeah,
like supposed to be a parody? This feels like if somebody made a female Tommy Wiseau.
mm, yeah, yeah that. So anytime they cut to her, I was like, oh, this is terrible. I was like that. It just weakened the movie anymore, even more. And also the movie just has such a small feel to it. Like it just feels not that big, not that expansive. When she runs into the forest and goes somewhere, it's like it just feels like she went down the block. It doesn't even feel like she went that far.
Yeah,
Um,
because there's this whole element of waiting on the queen's guards to like come and find her. It's like you just walk next door. It's like just down the road.
yeah. And this budget, apparently, this budget on this movie was huge. It was apparently it's reported at 250 to 270 million dollars.
Oh, with all of the production trouble that this evidently went through, with all the different versions of this film that are apparently out there on the cutting room floor, that doesn't surprise me.
Mm, yeah. I guess we can give our final thoughts rating on it. Nick, final thoughts rating for Snow White.
Ugh, uh, I think Rachel Zegler, she is a person to watch. I think every time she is on screen and given the opportunity to sing, even if the songs aren't written well, she is giving a great vocal performance. I feel like she has a lot of presence as Snow White, and she brings that kindness and caring nature to that character that you kind of need for Snow White. Uh, Gal Gadot as the evil queen. This a lot. Ah, damn it! I don't want to say a lot. Some of this movie's biggest problems could have been solved if you cast somebody who had some actual, screen presence, or some vocal talent, or just talent at all, instead of Gal Gadot. But besides that, this movie's structure and its pace are so weird. There's an entire part in the second act where they kind of forget about the dwarves, which on one level I was kind of thankful for, because again, nightmare fuel with how they look. But on another, it kind of felt like this movie kind of forgot what it was for at least a solid third of it.
Hmm.
Their chemistry between her and Jonathan, who is the based on the prince who is like her one true love. They don't have any chemistry.
I was
Even
about to say,
when
what chemistry?
they don't have any. Even like when he does kiss her after she eats the poison apple, it was like she could be saved by true love's kiss. Which, okay, y'all met like yesterday.
Okay, so I'm gonna add on top of that her first line after all the tragic moments of, okay, how are they gonna interpret this scene where the prince kisses Snow White? Because that's a fairly important part in
Mhm.
all fairy tale versions of it. Even all this, the most important moment. He just looks like sad and kind of like, kisses her in the most lackadaily way possible. And her first words out of her mouth aren't, "Oh my God, I'm alive," or "Oh, my prince, it's a prince," or whatever. It goes, "The queen murdered my father." Okay,
Okay,
that's your first line out of your mouth.
I get that a lot has happened since she was last conscious, and that's probably the biggest thing on her mind.
Yeah, sure. It's just that made me realize
On that level, I get it, but I
Yeah.
also understand.
as a movie and as a movie and I say I'm going to be perfectly honest in this.
Mhm.
Disney was created by their interpretation and work on Snow White.
Mhm.
Their studio, the foundations, everything that built this company. Walt Disney put his blood, sweat, and tears. And usually that's a metaphor. He put all three of those physically into his work. He bet his house, he bet his money, he bet everyone. Everyone told him he was crazy for doing a animated movie special. He built a dynasty that new people have been carrying on for their entire process. And this is the movie, this is the story that built your company. Why isn't this story the greatest effort you made? Why is this not top tier? Why is this not another Boulder? I mean, regardless, I think you should never even bother to touch it. This should be the golden goose you never touch and you leave it alone. But since you're going to go there and make a remake of it, it better be the best goddamn fucking thing you ever make.
They done
It
other
better be.
adaptations of Snow White too, but I mean,
But
like
this movie's just, if you take all that crap away, all the thing around it, it's below average. It's just all right. You can listen to the original songs. You can watch the movie in half the time that you watch this. And the acting goes from okay to just downright laughable. So I guess my real question at the end of this is, who is this for?
yeah, because it's
Money.
I mean, you would say maybe you try to make these movies more for like the little kids who've never seen it, but it's not that interesting. I don't think they'd be that interested in this, even if it was for the little kids. And then even people who love the story of Snow White, I don't think they're going to be that impressed with this.
There's no romance, so the little girl to teenage girl to grown up women audience gets nothing. There's no focus on that. There's no real focus on Snow White being Snow White fully as a character. We only get bits and bobs. They actually do the best they can to actually limit her time by shifting it over to the Prince of Bandits and everything else, and even giving a flashback to when she was a little girl. Which, you know what? I'll give the faintest praise. That little girl who acted, that was the pre Snow White, she actually acted pretty well, and she has a good singing voice. Good for her.
We'll look up and say none of these remakes have been better than the OG. Well, Jungle
No.
Book. I like Jungle Book.
I didn't like them, but they're not better.
I like Jungle Book better, but that's about it. Yeah. Nick, did you give your rating already? Did you say?
I was expecting a massive shit show, and I kind of got that. And this movie, there's nothing, even the elements of this that I think are done well. I liked Rachel Zegler's performance. Yeah, that's about it. That's the only thing I can actually say that I liked about this movie. I liked the idea of, fleshing out a lot of her backstory, a lot of characters that you couldn't have done in the original animation, but none of it adds anything new to my viewing experience that I couldn't have gotten from just watching the original. The acting, like you said, Rachel Zegler is pretty good in this, and everyone else is serviceable, and Gal Gadot is just awful. Which, if you're like secondary lead of this movie, which is Gal Gadot as the evil queen. If she isn't carrying it, then your movie kind of falls apart. And also the horrific CGI of them dwarves. I'm going to see those in my nightmares, and because of them, I do not sleep tonight.
I'm gonna get you
So
one.
I can only give this movie a skip it because there's nothing in this that made me angry like I usually give with the movies that do actively piss me off.
Wow, Hunter guessed right. He guessed you would give it a skip. You gave it a skip. There. Yeah. Dust. What about you? What's your rating?
I didn't hate this movie, but it doesn't deserve to exist. So, and the fact that your competition was the landmark animated movie that made all other animated movies possible, and that's what you're up against, and this is what you deliver. This is a waste of fucking film. Just on principle. It's a waste of film. It's a waste of time.
Damn. Hunter is 2 for 2.
That's fine. And you know what? Again, and this is one of the few times I've given a waste of fucking film without any hate or anger towards it, but just based on principle. Just on principle, this thing's a waste of film. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of money. You want to watch a different a Snow White movie? Go watch Snow White and the Huntsman. At least it's weird and different. Yeah. Go watch the original. You're not going to get anything better from here. The best thing Rachel Zegler can hope for after this, honestly, the bomb after bomb that she's been in, aside from like one movie,
aside from Hunger Games,
the Hunger Games, like that movie. She says she's going to move on to do Broadway. Good, go do Broadway.
Yeah,
I want nothing but the best for you. Go and do Broadway.
Yeah, you're ridiculously talented. Do Broadway. Step away from Hollywood for a couple years and get yourself a better agent, baby girl.
Yeah.
So keep your mouth shut.
I keep pissing off them Disney dolls. I like that.
Yeah, no. Keep pissing off the audience and see.
Either get some media training or or keep pissing them off. Go ahead.
Grown man mad at fucking Snow White. Come on now. 42 years old. You man mad at the girl.
Men and women, come on. Let's be fair.
And old ass women too.
Old ass women too. Come on, you gotta be fair.
But yeah, so like everybody said, I mean, it's kind of like a lame duck, like a lot of these Disney live action remakes are. Really nothing there that kind of matches the original film of it. Like I said, only like one of these, it was Jungle Book, and then the rest have been kind of either terrible or it's passable as a movie. This is bordering on passable. That's about it, as best I can say for it. If you are going to watch this movie for any reason, it might be for Rachel Zegler there. I do think she's decent in the film there, amongst all the terrible things kind of going on, amongst kind of the terrible direction here, amongst Gal Gadot there, who's also very terrible in this movie. She tries to do this. I mean, I don't think it's a fault of hers there. So yeah, I mean, for me, I would also just it's just not really worth it. Even if you would have watched this maybe on Disney Plus, I don't think it's kind of worth it. So I would also I'm with Nick, I'd give it a skip it as well. Like if you kind of put more of a, like you said, do something with that kind of, hey, like we're trying to update this, do something at least modern with it. I mean, I don't want the movie to be like this, but if you were able to kind of do something with like the plot of like the substance, like the themes and kind of that, and added it to Snow White about beauty and about young women versus old women and society pitting against each other. Like if you did something maybe along those lines, maybe that would have been you would have had something different and good interpretation on Snow White that would have been different from other adaptations.
I mean, you could just watch many of the live action versions in German that Germany has made. There are plenty of good interpretations that they've made, just like when the Mulan live action remake came out. Like you got plenty of great Mulan movies in China.
Yeah.
You want Beauty and the Beast, you can watch the original La Belle La Bête. Or other live action versions that they've done since in French.
And also, it's kind of fun to, keep bagging on Gal Gadot, but Dennis Quaid eating shrimp in that movie is more evil than anything she does in this.
Yeah. So, I just give it a skip it. A large part of the reason because I don't want to have Hunter get 3 for 3. So, so I'm gonna make him piss him off and not give him 3 for 3.
You
So yeah,
catty bitch.
yeah. So Dust
He
gives
didn't.
me
He didn't. He's like, you didn't want to give it in to the real pineapple. You're like, I was gonna. You son of a gun.
He was about to.
And then I realized, oh shit, he's got me pegged. At least I'm honest.
But yeah, so skip it for me. Skip it from Nick, and Dust gives it a waste of fucking film there for Snow White.
Boy, did you waste your time.
Yeah.
Oh, still got your money, bitch. Oh!
No, you didn't.
Yeah, because this is not doing very well in the box. I think it's only made 3.5 million so
Oh
far.
yeah, it's bombing hard.
Yeah, it's not doing so
Yeah,
well.
my screening at like 3 o'clock on a Friday afternoon, that theater was damn near empty.
The Looney Tunes movie and Black Bag are gonna make more money.
Let's
They'll
go.
make exactly. They'll make their money back before this movie does.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy to do when your budget is, reasonable.
Yes, correct. That's another problem. Make reasonable budgets.
Yeah. Snow White bites off promising 3.5 million and Thursday previews there. It says in terms of Disney live action,
3.5 million is promising nowadays.
I guess for the first, this is the opening night there. I guess for that because it's still Friday for us. So yeah, so maybe next week. I don't know what the whole total weekend total will be. But Beauty and the Beast astounded when opening to 174.6 million domestically in mid-March 2017, not adjusted for inflation. In spring 2015, Cinderella debuted to 67.9 million domestic. Damn. Maleficent launched to 69 million in May 2014. The sequel, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, stalled at 37 million. It opened to 174.6 million. Beauty and the Beast. Damn. I think that didn't that make $1 billion? Beauty and the Beast. I believe it made $1 billion. I can't remember. But yeah. So that was our thoughts there on Snow White. All right. I'll be heading out of here. Thank you, Dust. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Lucky Dog Podcast. Thank you to also Hunter from the Real Pineapple Podcast there. Very much appreciated. Thanks for stopping by. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna raid Cal. Cal is on right now. Cal is playing Repo. I'll go ahead and give him a raid. I don't think I've raided Cal in a minute there. I'll go ahead and give him. We'll be back tomorrow. Thank you, Hunter. We'll be back tomorrow. They're streaming probably 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll be reviewing Invincible Season 3. Also Revenge there as well. Be doing that. Nick will be joining me there. Chris from the Black Stuff Podcast and Christina from Cosmopolitics. Sunday, I got a stream with Chris Ayers there. We're going to be reviewing The Electric Steak, The Gorge, and My Dead Friend Zoe. Monday, I have a stream with Rated M for Immaturity Sage there, doing some video game reviews and maybe an anime review there as well for that. Very nice. Nick, well, people know where they can find you. What you got going on, man?
All right, you can find me on all the socials: Twitter, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Letterboxd at Night and Day Nick.
Very, very cool there. Let me see. Let's see. Was Cal? Is he still? Yeah, Cal's still on there. Let me pull him up here. But yeah. Good stuff there. All right, people. Yeah. So see you tomorrow. Hopefully you can join the stream again. Very much appreciate it. All right, everybody. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
That's all, folks.
That's all, folks.